Well, we are, this is a delight this morning. We have guest speaker Yvonne Platisha, who is somewhere down line of Nancy Joe, I think. And she has been a top recruiter in the company for years. And in Founders President's Award in recruiting. And Yvonne, I believe, what is the number that you've recruited this year so far? It's like a crazy number.
Oh, okay. I think they're asking me about last year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe last year.
I don't know. And I'm like, what's presidents? I don't think I ever got that. What's that?
You've been there, Founders Award. You know.
I did. I was Circle of Honor in 2018.
Yes, so, you were.
So yeah,
but you've been at.
You're so funny. Last year I recruited. I think it was 65. I'm not positive.
That's the number. Yes, that's the number I remember is 65, and which is just such a crazy, incredible number. On top of that, she was recently one of the featured speakers for spring launch or spring kickoff that Ferry Out ran. And I was so impressed with your presentation. And as somebody who is a veteran, I had pages of notes. So I wanted to have Yvonne share with our team some of her great takeaways, because she's authentic, she's real, she's not really duplicatable because there's only one of her, but I think we all are in for a treat. So Yvonne, it's all yours.
Yes, we're good. Okay, so now I can't see anybody, so it's totally freaking me out. Hang on, let me move it. Okay, there, now I see some people. I gotta talk to people, you know. I could talk to myself, but it's way more fun if I actually talk to people. So, okay, so this is a little tricky now, because in my brain, I think when you asked me to speak, I thought you had said you wanted me to do the exact training I did at Nancy Joe Ryan retreat, but now I'm thinking, oh shoot, are you talking about the Free Yan one? So I have both.
You're prepared. Yeah, I just want you to be you and share how you have taught the art of sharing the business.
You're so funny. All right, I'm gonna do my best. Because if you were at the retreat, I'm gonna go with those notes, but I'll weave some other stuff in, okay? Because I don't want it to be like super like, oh my goodness, I already heard her say this, like leave, so and so left, you don't know. So I'm not gonna be offended if I see people leave. I don't know why they're leaving, right? We don't know why people come, we don't know why people leave, right? Okay. So I'm gonna just give you guys a teeny background on me personally. Before we start recording, I said next month is my 23-year anniversary with Pampered Chef. So it's been such a blessing. Like literally when I started Pampered Chef, I never heard of it, never went to a party. I didn't own one tool. Like it just sounded like a good concept. I had a 2 and a 4-year-old at the time, wanted to make a couple $100. You guys know how that works, right? And just thought like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to cook. Because I was kind of the burn queen, okay, just to be real. Like I would burn everything. Like I was like hamburger helper mama. I was like, okay, we're gonna have beef stroganoff tonight, and tomorrow we're gonna have tuna helper, and tomorrow, the next day, we're gonna have lasagna. It's all from the box, right? So I figured if I could follow the box, I could do anything. So I still follow the recipes with Pampered Chef now. Now I just look a lot better, right? So our tools like change lives in and out of the kitchen is what I feel 1,000,000%. Couple months after I started, I went to conference actually. They're like, oh yeah, you just go to conference. This is what you do. I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to spend like $1 million? Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be doing this business, but I went to conference and the gal that I roomed with, we slept in the same bed. And then I got pregnant when I got home, and so did she. I'm not sure how that happened, but we both got pregnant. So I was like totally pregnant my first year in business. And I was like, thank God this apron is adjustable, because I was like super huge going to my parties. I'm pretty sure people just felt sorry for me at that point. They're like, oh my gosh, don't go into labor like at my house. Like, can you leave please now? so the business, why I'm saying that is, the business, it fits into so many areas of your life and our life. And like over the years, my goodness, like so much has happened in my life. I'm sure with you all as well, right? But Pampered Chef is the one thing that has been there through everything, through everything and so many things. And like I said, I'm going to try not to cry today. Okay. But I just feel so blessed by this business. I just feel like it's honestly a privilege to call ourselves a pampered chef, and not just these tools that really change people's lives in the kitchen, but the business opportunity is just phenomenal, right? The business opportunity is just really like everything that we do, and pampered chef is there. So I will say that I told my director, I'm not a recruiter. I'm not a recruiter. That's just not my thing. Right. So I said that for years, y'all. Okay. And really and truly, for 17 years in my business, I really wasn't a strong recruiter at all. I recruited maybe 6, maybe 14 or something like that at most. I think the first time I had excellence, I was in recruiting. I was like, what happened? How did this even happen? Right. I just thought it happened by chance. So, I really feel like you guys hear about the belief triangle, right? The belief triangle, like, okay, you have to believe it to see it and all this stuff, right? Then you're going to act on it. Then once you act on it, you're going to get these results. So then you believe it, right? Well, let me just tell you guys, if you don't believe it, who cares? Just go to the act on it, okay? Because that's what I did, really and truly, okay? So if you don't believe it, you're like, oh, I don't know. Who cares? Just act on it and do what you got to do. We know that the very first thing is, I'm going to kind of do like 10 tips. Okay. So I have like 5 tips for recruiting, 5 tips for like onboarding. Okay. So I'll kind of try to stick to that. Cause if I'm in a training, I'm like a note taker. I write everything down or I forget it. The older I get, the worse it is, of course. Right. But I'm going to try to give you guys something to follow along. Okay. So number 1, I will say that you have to be in front of people to ask, right? And I know there's like a bunch of like rock star sellers in here. You guys do like way more sales than I do, honestly. But I think that not just thinking about this training for yourself, but maybe for your team as well. So I always think like, if it's not something that I don't feel like I need to really strengthen, maybe I kind of got that area, then I'm going to like listen for my team. How can I help them and train them? And no matter what, we're always learning somehow, some way, right? So 8 and 2 is kind of the beginning of the world with Pampered Chef, right? 8 shows, 8 makes you great, right? And I know they say for virtual, like double that. But if you have some new people who are like totally freaked out about even thinking about doing 16 virtual parties, start at 8. Start at 8, because guess what? The ratio and the cycle for the 4 and 1, that's really how it's gonna happen. They're gonna recruit 2 people as long as they're asking with the right wording and the right responses that you can help them with, or you're doing that yourself. Okay. My ratio is like 2 and 1 typically. Okay. So I don't do a whole bunch of parties. My focus really is on helping people, start their own business and train them up well. All right. So there's number 1, be in front of enough people and change, and change your belief triangle thinking. Like just start at the action. Okay. Because y'all know what? I'm not like amazing or anything. It's not that. It's that I just do the things that I'm supposed to do, and the numbers don't lie. Right. So if you have enough parties, you're asking enough people, guess what? Organically, it's going to happen. And that's really what happened for me about 5 years ago when I started recruiting. Okay. Number 2, the one tip I do that I think outside of the parties is also a key. I don't know that everyone thinks about that all the time. They always think like, oh, ask my host kind of thing, which of course you should look for the rock star guest and all of that. But I really do feel that over all these years in Pampered Chef, I have been consistent with like bookings in general, I'll say, because outside the party, it's the same for recruiting. You have to just look outside the party as well. So you want to like listen for people who are saying like, oh my gosh, goodness, like you guys see these posts on Facebook, like, a lot of people put a lot of stuff out there on Facebook, right? Don't do that. But a lot of people will say like, oh gosh, like my husband has lost his job, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but there's some deep stuff that people like will share right on Facebook, or people that you're talking to, or people ask you to pray for someone because of this situation or that. Pampered Chef can help like so many people, not just in our parties, but out of our parties. Okay. So I think that's the key, is just listening to others, right? Like it's easy for us to like share our heart. But I think the main thing is we have to listen to theirs. And then when you have that heart connection, that's when people feel like they know you, like you, trust you, because they want to buy from you, book with you, build with you. Yes. So it's those 3 factors which get the other 3. That's really the basis of our business, right? Okay. Number 3, I do share their order link right when they book the party. And I give a small incentive for every 200 in sales before their party starts. So it's typically like a rub or something like that. But I do this on purpose. It doesn't matter if I book them 6 months out or 2 weeks out. It doesn't matter. So I always give them the link, and I have verbiage and text replacement, or if you use boards or something, it's super fast, right? To send it out. And then just like when we train our teams, it's the same as we're coaching our host, right? We're going to tell them what to do. We're going to tell them why to do it. And we're going to tell them how to do it. Okay. Because if any three of those are missing, y'all, it does not happen. Right. So I'm going to say $200 before your party is the goal. Right. And then I'll say for every 200, I'm going to give you a gift. But then I tell them why, because you're going to get rocking and rolling before your party even starts. Well, guess what? That's also 225 off their kit, right? 400, 50 off their kit. Okay. So we can get them rocking and rolling and get them started before their actual party even starts. We can sign them up because they already can buy down their kit $25 or $50 off. Okay. So there's a quick tip for you guys. This is not my idea. Someone shared it, and then I just adapted it and changed it up. Right. Okay. Number 4 is I always do a host call. And I know this is like crazy, especially if you're young. You're like, oh my gosh, I never talk on the phone. I hate talking on the phone. But we know that the heart of this business is the connection, and that we are a relationship business, right? And even if you do like voice clips, like, oh, they hear your voice, they're excited, whatever. I want to hear their voice. I want to hear what they're like uneasy or nervous about. Because in that call, I say, does that feel normal? Does that feel good to you? Like, does that feel crazy if I'm asking you to invite this many people, or how I'm asking you to invite them, or whatever, right? Because guess what? If they have like some kind of insecurity about it or something, they're way more likely to tell you on the phone than like text you back. I'm uncomfortable with that. Okay. So I've got it down. So I give them 3 questions, and I give them 3 tips. Okay. And it takes, I'm not kidding, 10 minutes on the button, like pretty much every time. And yes, I do it talk fast. I know. So if you guys need to slow me down, you're going to have to tell me that after, and I can repeat anything. Okay. I promise. But on that call, that is where I recruit most of my new consultants, on the call, because I'm chatting with them. I'm talking with them about the 3 questions, blah, 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 about their party. And then at the very end of their party, I ask them the golden question. I call this the golden question because I tweaked it just a little bit from what home office has told me. And Kathy taught me this years ago. Kathy Cogazella, she's amazing, one of my mentors, her and Judy Joel, right? But I always ask, I say before we start any party, I always like to ask every single host. I'll tell you my 3 questions. 1 second, Lou. Thank you. So I'll give you the questions first, so I won't forget. Okay, 3 questions are: what's on your wish list? Who can you think of that's not on Facebook that you'd like to share your order link with? And then I say, who can you think of that might want to host their own party? So I give them some like ideas. I give them the words to reach out, but then about the hosting part, I say, maybe your friends love Pampered Chef like you. Maybe someone loves to bake. Maybe someone likes to cook. Maybe someone hates to cook. Maybe they just want to support you. Anyone like that you can think of right now. So I just kind of like pop ideas in her brain, like who loves deals, stuff like that, right? So I kind of pop ideas into her brain, so she starts thinking about who those outside orders would be, who those bookings would be. Because then again, guess what? You're working outside of your party, connecting with these people on messaging. Thank you for your order, all this kind of stuff. So I think that's super key. Okay. So that's the 3. And then the 3 tips I give them is how many and how to invite. The second tip is the outside orders. And the third tip is the participation in the party. And I also give them some ideas on like three people, like three guests in the 3 days in 3 different ways. So that like I like specifically say, like oh Susie, check out this recipe. I know you love artichokes, right? Or like, hey Joni, play this game, you're gonna get party points. Your friends who like to play games, who like check out this stoneware, I know you love to bake, whatever. So I give her ideas on how she can do that. And obviously the reminder through host coaching as well. Host coaching is so important. And so I always do the call. But then guess what? Sorry, Glenna. I also have Project Broadcast, or if you don't have Project Broadcast, you still can set a timer for yourself, and you're going to send out this message every day at 8 a.m. or whatever, right? And every day they're getting from me the information for host coaching while we're doing the party, reminders, that kind of thing. Okay. The 3 tips again were how many and how she invites. The second is outside orders. And the third is participation in the party. Yes. Okay. Am I good? Okay. So the golden question, you guys ready? Before we start any party, I always like to ask every single host, have you ever thought about doing something for extra income, or just something that's fun with a ton of flexibility? Because number one reason why people don't start or even host a party is what? Right? I don't have time. I'm so busy. I have so much on my plate. I'm like, where are all these plates these people are talking about? Right? Because there's some people, and we have to be respectful of that, right? There's some people that are like, they have 2 things on their plate. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's my son's birthday at the end of the month. I can't even think about anything else. I'm like, okay.
Yvonne, I love how you worded that. Say that again. Have you ever thought
about doing something for extra income, or just something that's fun with a ton of flexibility? So that's the key. That's the part I added on, with a ton of flexibility, because guess what, y'all? We know there's a ton of flexibility in this. We can teach people to work their business in pockets of 15 minutes, right? Around what they're doing already. Like, I can guarantee you, every single person on this call watched the recording, every single person in America, I'm so busy. They're doing a million things, right? Most people on this call, you probably have 8 things on your plate right now. And you're like, okay, I have 10 minutes. What can I do in the next 10 minutes right now? Right? You guys are like that. I'm like that. I'm like, okay, cool. I could actually unload the dishwasher like really quick before this call or something, right? So some of us leaders, obviously, we have a bunch of stuff on our plate. We're like excited about it. We're like, yes, what else can we do to get done today? But other people, they're like, oh my gosh, I have 2 things and I can't handle them. Okay. And like I said, we have to meet them where they are, right? We have to be respectful of that, right? We're not going to make fun of them or anything like that. We're going to be respectful of them. And that's okay. That's all right. But we want to teach them that this business is super flexible. So anybody can work it around whatever they're doing already. Okay. So that's my golden question. We have to make it that this is not like rocket science, y'all. Okay. This is not rocket science. This is not like, oh my gosh, you have to invest like thousands of dollars and like 60 hours a week. Like, you don't have to do that. You're trying on the apron to see if it's a fit, because it's adjustable, right? It can fit anyone, right? But like you said, Marie, in the beginning, or Patty, who said it, like, this is what I say too. It's not for everybody, but at least try, because I sure the heck didn't know it was for me. Right? Most of you guys probably never thought you'd be doing Pampered Chef as long as you have, or got the rewards that you got, or met all the amazing people that you've met. Like, that's what the business is about. It's so exciting, right? But how do you know unless you try to do anything in life? Anything, right? So we're going to help them. We're going to partner with them. So we want to make sure that they feel confident and comfortable in that. Okay. We're not going to you're not going to feel like the crazy direct selling lady. Okay. That's my goal every day. Like, don't be a pampered pest, okay? Like, don't be a crazy direct selling lady. Like, don't let people think like, I just drank the Pampered Chef Kool-Aid and now I'm like all crazy and weird, okay? Like, we're going to be normal, and we're going to be fun, and we're going to have a good value in our parties. We're not going to be pushy. We're not going to do any of that stuff, right? Okay. I think I'm on number 5. Yes? Okay. I fully believe in doing welcome messages to everybody in the party. Okay. And I know this is crazy for some people, because maybe you do a gazillion parties. You're like, how the heck can I possibly do that, Yvonne? But if you do some every day, and you have specific days or times that you do that, then it is possible. Okay. I will tell you guys that I work 100% from my phone. So I know, like, some people, only work in their office and on their computer, and that's what you're totally comfortable with. Me personally, I feel super comfortable on my phone. So I do everything from my phone. But guess what? It's interchangeable. Whatever you do on your phone, you can do on the computer, pretty much. Okay. I think you guys actually could do some better stuff on your computer than on the phone, but it works for me. A text welcome, right? So I'm talking about when people coming into the party, your virtual party, right? Just like at a cooking party, right? They're not going to walk in the door and be like, okay. You're like, they walk in the door and be like, you're not going to do that, right? You're going to be like, hi, everyone, the Pampered Chef. What is your name? Like, you're going to talk to them. You're going to say, same thing for virtual, you guys. Did you guys know that if you were a cooking consultant before virtual, that we slide it over and we transfer everything in, and cooking consultants actually do better in virtual parties. I've been told this by the home office. I'm not going to say who told me, but pretty big wig lady up in there. Okay. Okay. So it's true. It's true, because that's what I did. I was like, what the heck is this virtual? And I honestly, guys, I've been doing virtual for 10 years now. And I just transferred what I knew from the live cooking parties into that. That's why I always do a live demo. People want to see products in action, right? Always, no matter what, I do that. So, and I do the Q&A at the end of my live, just like I do at a cooking party. Same thing, when people are coming in, we're going to welcome them. So I have, again, in text replacement, right? I have a little message that goes out. Hey, Susie, this is Yvonne with the Pampered Chef. I am so excited that you're here at Jane's party. And what I say now, I tweaked a little bit because so many people have been to virtuals now. Yeah. So I'll say, have you recently been to a Pampered Chef virtual party? Or do you have any questions that I can answer right now? Because I used to say, hey, have you ever been to a Pampered Chef virtual? But then everyone's like, yes, 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 yes. So now I changed it. Have you recently been to a Pampered Chef virtual party? Because then that kind of gives you the idea is if, okay, were they like in 3 last week, or they haven't been one in 6 months or 2 years or whatever, right? So like, have they seen what's new? Like, how are you going to forward that conversation with them by asking, these questions, right? So you're building that relationship in there. And guess what, you guys, I do the follow-up if I don't hear back from them. Right. Number two is like, hey, Susie, want to make sure you got my message. I also put up a post in my party that says, check your inbox. When you message me back, you're going to get 25 party points and a recipe from me. And then guess what? They start checking their inboxes because we know that it goes all crazy in there, right? I think it was Erin Cacciola who just shared with me that she's doing like what she calls like a guest journey, and she's asking them in the party in a post to give them their text, to message them on text message. So text message her, because then guess what? They're going to see it way better if we text them versus Facebook Messenger, right? Because we're not friends with them on Facebook. Okay. So I thought that was a fabulous idea that I'm going to start implementing like right away. Are you only doing Facebook? So I do Facebook and then I do cooking parties. So I do have I think I have like 5 cooking parties in April. I just did one last weekend. It's like, I love cooking parties. Okay. So I, it's like compared apples to oranges, right? Facebook is like, okay, you can meet 1 million people across the country. You could do multiple parties at once. That's so amazing. But cooking parties, for me, I'm a people person. You guys can probably tell I like the connection, seeing people, seeing their faces, having them use the Zal chopper and being like, drop the fork, y'all. I've been doing this with like my forks like my whole life. How's this even possible if this is a product that you guys sell, right? So that's so exciting. Then they get to eat stuff like that, right? Like to feed people. All right. Okay, we're going. Yeah, we're going. So start building a relationship right away. And I also feel that it's very, very important to have. I have like legit like almost 4 days of pre-party. I know it sounds crazy, but I get so many people in the party that way because there's number one, I do block parties, so there's multiple people inviting. And if you've done block parties, you said I don't like it, I'd rather do single parties. I'm gonna say try it block party again because it's working smarter. Okay, it's working smarter. All right, and Facebook likes when multiple people are inviting, and I do a ton of fun interactive posts, and that's what gets the algorithm going, and it gets pumped up. And I could easily have well over 100 people, 175 people, like almost 200 in my last party. And there was like 4 hosts in there because of that interaction algorithm, more people inviting, fun, value. Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to throw that out there. All right. Number 6, responses should never be about us. Okay. So like our natural human response when we have regular relationships with people, right, is like if someone says, oh, I'm super sad about this, I'm going through this thing, you're going to say, oh my gosh, I went through that too. I totally understand what you're saying, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But in the business world, it doesn't work like that. Okay. Because they don't really care if they say, oh, I'm super busy, I don't know if I can put anything on my plate. They don't really care if you say, oh my gosh, girl, I work full time. I have 3 kids. I'm involved in church ministry and blah, 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 blah. They don't really care because they look at you as, right, the cape backwards, right? The apron backwards is a cape, right? So they look at you like, oh, you're Wonder Woman. There's no way I could do that. Like, I'm not you. right? Especially if you've been in business a long time. They're like, oh my gosh, like you're awesome. But honestly, you guys, we just develop systems and we make everything easy, right? That's all it is. So they don't really care because they're looking at like dirty dishes in their sink right now and laundry that's like on their bed that they didn't put away yet. I actually have both those right now. But anyway, you want to make sure that you're not saying anything about yourself back to them. You want to say instead, here's another golden question, okay? Another golden question. If they say, I'm super busy, this is the number one thing you're going to hear. I'm super busy. I can't put anything on my plate. I'm going to say, if I shared with you some ways that you can work your business in small pockets of time, would you want to hear more? Because then you're creating a solution and listening to what they said, right? You're not just saying like, oh, if I could do it, you can do it. Because that's not true, you guys. Did you know that? That's not true. That we all have different personalities. We all have different upbringing. We have all different, home situations, experiences with our life. Like most of the time that we're not successful is because right here, our own brain, we stop ourselves. I stopped myself for years. I thought I had to look like her or do this or that. I'm telling you guys that I'm going to talk about that at the end. All right. I'm not going to say anything else. Okay. So always ask them back questions. That is the key. Ask them back questions. Okay. You always want to keep that relationship going. And some people don't know how to do that. And guess what? If you don't know how to do it, who cares? Ask your director because she'll help you. I can guarantee you she will help you. Okay. So ask them questions. I think of recruiting as fishing. Okay. We want to be fishers, right? So this is what we do. We throw out the cast. That might be that golden question, right? We throw out the cast, and then when they bite, you're gonna go just a little bit, right? And you're gonna say, yeah, right now they have I don't want to speak like that, but I'm gonna say, oh my goodness, yeah, we have three different kids. Have you checked those out yet? Right? And then so I'm giving out the slack a little bit, right? And then she's gonna come in, and then I'm going, right? Okay, so then I'm going, oh, and they have a signing bonus going right now. And you can earn the flex right now. And so I'm saying bits of information as we're talking, okay? The other thing I don't do is some people just like, have you seen the kits? And then they share the entire flyer that has all the kits on it. Don't do that, y'all, okay? If you do that, because there's no way, they're just like, it's so small, right? Like, I'm trying to like open up paper when I'm reading. Do you guys ever do that? Like, gosh, I wish I could get this paper bigger right here. It's so small, you can't read it. Okay. So they're like trying to open it up or whatever. But listen, this is what I do. Option one, $79 kit. Wait. Option two, deluxe kit. Wait. Option three, the 279 kit, ultimate kit. And then you ask a question, which would you choose? So she could sort of be mulling over each option for her, because guess what? It's all about her. It doesn't matter what kit she gets. We know that. I mean, it depends on her budget, depends on what she has at home already. It doesn't matter. And I tell them that. I say, hey, you can get whatever kit you want. You're going to be successful with Pampered Chad. If you have to start with a $79 kit, who cares? Then you earn it, girl. Like, get in the apron. Let's start earning income, start earning rewards. You guys asking questions and I'm missing it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look really quick because I know someone said something. If you could share some simple systems that could work a little pockets of time, what would you want to hear more? Oh, she just gave my question. Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you, Sherry. Okay. All right, number 7, onboarding strong, right? Because you know what? Membership is not all about like signing up people and dropping them, right? We don't want to be one night stand, y'all, right? Like, woo, this was fun. Yeah. Oh, see you later, alligator, right? No. Okay. So we have to do strong onboarding. And guess what, y'all? 24 to 48 hours, phone call with your new consultant. And if you don't know what to ask, you guys, I'm going to give you that acronym FORM, right? FORM. If you don't know, some people, they're nervous. They don't know how to ask. They get nervous about this. So F is about family. Ask about their family. So tell me a little bit about your family. And this is like 5 minutes, you guys, in the call. Right in the call, 5 minutes, okay? So tell me a little bit about your family. Are you married? Do you have kids? Well, grandkids? What do you got, right? Dogs? What do you got? Cats? Okay. O is occupation. So are you currently working, somewhere right now? Are you doing something, right now? What are you doing? Oh, I have 3 jobs. Okay. R. is recreation. So what do you usually do with your time? Like, are your kids involved in sports? Like whatever, when she's talking about her kids, right? Whatever. So you're asking about like what she does outside of Pampered Chef. Like, what do you love to do, right? And then the M is the motivation. We know that's the why, right? Why? So, what interested you about joining Pampered Chef? I never asked them, what are your goals with Pampered Chef? Because they don't know you. Most people are going to say, oh, whatever I make is good, right? They don't even know what's available. Like, do you know you can make $1,000 this month? $2,000? Like literally, how do you know that? Like, you don't know. They don't even know. So I don't really usually ask them the very first call. Okay. And I know probably a lot of you guys are using Dash. So I know that there's like tasks in there that I don't direct them to. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. But I know there's super resources in Dash. But I actually created guide training a year before Dash came out and talked with home office about they're in my pages and they watched all my trainings. And then a year later, they created Dash. Okay. So Pampered Chef is like, literally, Yvonne, do what you're doing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. So we have a good qualification rate and onboarding and all that. Okay. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go Dash. I think it's an amazing resource. There's so much great information in there. But for me personally, I like to start them out with what I've done, which is the guide training. But really and truly, if you send them to Dash, that's guide training, right? So that's okay. If you don't have guide training, then you use Dash. It's amazing. Okay. All right. So number 8, guide training. There we go. Guide training. Or Dash. Okay. The other thing that I asked them to do is to start a new consultant binder. Okay. Because again, y'all know I'm old school, right? But I do so much things on, technical stuff. But guess what? When you're and you got to figure out what works for yourself. But I think it's super cool for new consultants, especially because most people don't know how to organize themselves or set up systems. They don't understand that. So I encourage them to get a new consultant binder, and I show them how to tab it out in a file with the trainings to take notes on, with our calls, keep your contact list in there, specials, catalogs, the rewards, your fast track rewards, all of that. So that, guess what? If they're at work, they can grab that binder at the lunch, or they can open it up in the morning before they leave, or they can open it up in the car before they go back home. That's a good time to work. Okay. Or maybe they're going to do that right before they go to bed. But guess what? I have a 3-second rule. Okay. If it take 3 seconds to write it down where you're supposed to, so you don't take 3 hours trying to find that little piece of paper that you put somewhere or that you didn't write it down at all. And you're trying to remember. Okay. So even if you stick it on a Post-it, put it inside your binder, because then when you're ready to work, boom, there it is for you. And this is how you're going to teach your team to work smart and in these pockets of time. Because guess what? You know how much time and energy is wasted on finding little papers and trying to remember who did I message and all of that? Have it all in one place. All right. So there's a tip for you right there. Okay. And that's all in one place in our org page, just so you know. So whatever you guys do, if you guys have a separate new consultant group or whatever, keep it all in one place for them. So every time they know they're going to go in there and find what they need. Okay. For training. Number 9, I do run their first parties for them as training. Okay. So I think we do have to hold those apron strings sometimes, and especially in the beginning. Okay. And I know like a lot of stuff is automated and everything, but guess what, you guys? Most of the reason why someone joined is probably because they liked you and they wanted to work with you. So if you're just going to send them off into Cuckooville, all right, and be like, here's this, all this stuff, they're not going to feel that connection with you. That's why people stay in the business. Okay. So I do run their first parties for them in one party. Okay. So my goal is 4 in 1, their very first week in business. And I teach them and train them to do that right from the start. Okay. And so that's one way to do it. But now I'm sort of transferring over solely into, some of you guys may have heard of my 10 parties. Okay. Yes, I do, Susan. I do 4 in 1, sometimes 6 in 1 blog party. Yeah. So I actually created something just well over a year ago now. And now I'm just pumping them up and doing them a lot more because people are doing so many virtuals. They're kind of like, do I want to do a traditional virtual party with you? Maybe that's why you're not getting bookings, right? So do something fun, do something fast, do something new. So I do something called a 10 party. And it's always on a Saturday, right? So a lot of people work, so they can come into the party on Saturday, pop in and out. And I open it on a Thursday. So we got 2 pre-party days for information and fun. And then Saturday for 10 hours, I have up to 10 hosts. And if I have 10 hosts, I ask them to only invite in 10 people who said that they want to party. And then get 10 outside orders, 5 before, 5 after. That's always the goal, right? This is how I train them up. I share 10 recipes and I do 10 giveaways. And I schedule the whole party on Friday night. It takes me like an hour. I schedule it all out the next day, including the winners, because that's whoever was chatting with me Thursday and Friday. And most of the time, I'm not even home on Saturday during the day for a few hours. I have an ongoing grief share program that I do. And so, sometimes I have a cooking party on Saturday, right? So, and at the very end, I go live for about 10 minutes is my goal, but you guys can hear me talking already. It doesn't happen all the time, right? So I did like a 20-minute video the other day. And then on Sunday, I'll go in for 10 minutes for the Q&A for bonus giveaways. So I'm trying to work smarter and not be in my phone and in my business all day, every day. Like I never want to be like that. And I really don't I teach the team not to be like that either. Right. Because guess what? We don't have to be in our phone all day. We don't have to be on Facebook every day, all day. Like it's not necessary. Well, really, if you can pop in a couple times a day and you're good, it's fine. As long as you're commenting back and all of that. Okay. All right. Number 10, focus on supporting them. I already said you don't want to be a one-night stand, right? The best thing I can possibly tell you guys is to be you. Literally and truly, there's some amazing leaders in our field. And they are willing to share and give you wording and all of that. But ultimately, there's some things that you just got to be you on. They want to see you live. They want to see how you're using your product. And be real, be honest. Like, I'm just gonna tell you guys, I do not like the egg slicer. Like, why do they even have that product anymore when we have the quick slice? Okay. If someone's ordering the egg slicer plus, I'm like, girl, you're gonna have to get new wires like pretty soon. Like, just get the quick slice, okay? Like, be real with people. Okay. We always say that you're the CEO of YOU. You can't copy and paste anybody, y'all. You've got to be you. Your passion's gonna come out of what you're excited about. And that's how they're going to connect with you. Okay, that's how they're going to connect with you. Yes, I have done that, Glenna, for two new consultants in a 10 party, 5 and 5 parties for them. I have done that. To start onboarding like that too. Okay, but I'll say that there is waves in this business, you guys. There's going to be waves in this business that is normal and natural for any business, direct selling, storefronts, whatever. Right? We've got waves in the business, except In-N-Out. If you guys are familiar with In-N-Out, like I don't think that they ever not have business. I'm not sure, but when we got waves in the business, I'm going to say ride the wave, because once you catch it, it's the most amazing and rewarding thing that you could ever do in this life. That's my experience, and that's the experience that I've seen for so many others that I have been blessed to be able to share and help. Some of you guys might know it's almost 2 years now. In May, my husband passed away. And my Pampered Chef family, it was everything to me. And they still are. Because I have hard days still, y'all. I have hard days. And my husband and I were together for 31 years. And he was my rock. He was my back end. He was my supporter, encourager, uplifter. He was so smart, He never wanted to be in front like me. But he helped me so much. So I'm going to tell you guys, if you don't have someone like that, find someone like that. If your spouse isn't like that, or you're not married, if you have a business bestie who's a sister director, someone who has the same goals as you, partner up with someone, right? Because I know your director, they can't do it all. They can't do it all. They want to, but they can't. I know I can't. And I don't even have big old giant teams like some of these ladies here on this call. Okay. But really and truly, if anyone has a connection in this business with you, with other people, they're going to stay in this business. They're going to stay in the business. That's what makes so many of us stay in our business. People in jobs, they hate their boss. They don't even like their job, but they work with all these great people. They don't want to leave. So just remember that, and just remember to be you, be genuine, have fun. Our business is a party, y'all. This is what our job is. So have fun with it and know that you're going to have those waves. Ride the wave. There we go. That's me. That's it, y'all.
You are so incredible. I am so thankful that you said yes, yes, yes to being here with us this morning. And I knew you were going to knock it out of the park, Yvonne. You have definitely had challenges, and you're a new grandma to a baby girl, and life
Number
is
5.
good. And
Believe that. Number 5.
number
Great.
5. That is crazy. And the people that you have touched in our organization, our business, our Pampered Chef family, I cannot tell you, like, it's like that rock that goes into a pond and the circles keep coming out, like, and you put out such warm love, you're getting it back. And I want to just thank you. And I know some people have questions for you. So, we want to give you a virtual hug, and I'm hoping to actually see you in person and take you to lunch. So, or breakfast or dinner or whatever.
Right. I don't always share about my great loss of my husband. But sometimes I feel like I'm among friends and I'm in an intimate setting. And so I can be vulnerable and I can share that, gosh, I mean, if I even share with you guys all the different losses over the years and the moves and, all of these different things, which I know you all experience too. Like you guys all experience, health issues, like all these different things. Like, and you know what? It's like Pampered Chef can be there through all of that for everyone. And there's people on your team that get overwhelmed with their life and they stop doing their business. Like teach them and support them that you're going to be there no matter what for them when they're ready for you. And, we have to build these relationships with these people, our guests, our hosts, our consultants, everyone. That's the biggest joy of the business, So I'm seeing some of the comments. If you guys have any questions, please, I'm happy to stay and answer anything. I don't know if you guys are like, oh my gosh, like Yvonne talks so fast, I can't even handle this.
Christy just said she's been in the business 29 years and your talk on recruiting is the best one she's ever heard.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm literally crying right now. I don't want to cry, but I just have such a heart for this business. I just love Pampered Chef. And, and my oldest daughter is a director on my team and she grew up in the business. She was 4 years old when I started. And to me, one of the things that she said was, I want to continue the legacy of Pampered Chef, Mom. And so it's just crazy because Pampered Chef has fed our family, gave us trips, like all of these things. And when I started Pampered Chef, you guys, and I don't usually share this, you guys are getting bonus content here. There was times when I didn't have much food in the fridge. Let me just tell you. We lived in a 550 square foot house. My husband was out of work most of my marriage. He had a lot of back injuries and problems emotionally because he played football for many years. And I had to lead the family in that way. And it was really difficult at times. And this is why I feel so passionate about Pampered Chef, because people can come into this business with any background. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you're from, your education, if you know how to cook, any of those things. You can do amazing things and get so many rewards from this business. And there's so many great people here that are willing to share. So you guys, I'm preaching the choir here. You're all coming into these trainings, watching recordings. That's what I did with cassette tapes in my little minivan when I started, popping in the cassette tapes from Leadership Conference. And I was like, Donna McDonald, who is this amazing person? Like literally, it's so crazy. And so many of these rock stars who I looked up to very early in my business are still here doing Pampered Chef. And so, it's a blessing for me to be able to have the experience to even share it with y'all and that you come in and listen. So thank you.
Thank you. So anybody have a question for Yvonne? Unmute and ask.
If no one has any questions, it freaks me out. So say something like you've learned a tip or something. Okay. Because then I'm like, if you're not showing your face, I always joke and say, you're either sleeping or you're naked. If y'all sleeping or naked, if you're not showing your face. Okay, there's Susan. Susan, okay, I see that. Not sleep
I'm
during
not
it.
sleeping, and I actually got dressed and put makeup on because I have a new consultant call after this. But I want to say I loved the fact that you did share about your husband. Like, I didn't know that, but there are so many times where we as authentic people need to share that, because sometimes, we all look like, well, that's that's
Right.
Yvonne, or that's Anna. Like, I have stuff going on, and we need to hear, like, there was a story about a girl who had cancer and she promoted to an executive in the midst of her chemo treatments on the couch, and her husband was texting everybody. And like, we need to know, like, shit or get off the pot. Like, like we need to do our stuff. And, as you say, it's an up and down. It's just so good to hear that, because when you're in the low part and I'm like struggling to figure out table and like, why can't I get this going? Like, I don't want to go back to live cooking shows, but my last live cooking show, first in 3 years, went great. But it's like, I needed to hear what you had to say today. So thanks for being on.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Love it. I know maybe someone's asking in the chat. Hang on. What were my questions? Denise, I think, said something. What was my welcome text questions? So, well, I'm doing it on Facebook Messenger right now, but I'm going to be transferring it over. But basically, I just say, hey, Susie, this is Yvonne with the Pampered Chef. Thank you so much for joining us in Marie's party. Have you been to a Pampered Chef virtual party recently, or do you have any questions that I can answer for you right now? And that's basically how I started out, is that little welcome message. I do text message every order. So I do thank them for that. Ask them if they want recipes, have any questions, blah, blah, and all that jazz. You guys know, tips about their product or whatever. And then I do always ask them for a booking. So the welcome messages, I just chat with them, get to know them. I usually don't ask about a booking in the beginning unless they're like, oh my gosh, I love Pampered Chef. Then I'm like, okay, girlfriend, you need to like try on the apron, like right now, I might say something about the business, or I might say something about hosting. So, but typically I book them, then I ask them about the business. Typically, that's my thing. So I know people do it differently, but that's just what works for me, what I feel comfortable with. So I don't know if that helped or if that answered for you, Miss Denise.
Thank you.
Good
Cora.
morning, folks. On your 10 parties, Yvonne, and I know this might not be the time, but I would love are you doing them on groups on Facebook that you can pre-schedule?
Yes. Yeah, I do it in a group in Facebook, and it's always a Saturday. And basically I call it 10 party, 10 hours, 10 recipes, 10 giveaways. So just to kind of give you an idea, each hour, at the top of the hour, I share a recipe. 20 minutes later, I share those products in the recipe. And then 20 minutes later, I do a giveaway. So, and it's just something small, y'all, I give them the upgrade option and all that stuff. So there's 3 options, I can give you something from my stash. I can add a gift if you're going to place an order, or if you want to upgrade your gift, party with me. It's super easy and fun. And, and I'll send you a picture of what you can choose, like that.
Question on that. You said that you're doing other things on a Saturday. So if you have 10 giveaways at the top of each hour, how do you do that?
Because I pre-schedule all the giveaways from everybody who is active Thursday and Friday in the party.
So you already know the winners. Oh my.
Once in a while.
I heard you say that, but it didn't.
Yeah, once in a while I'll go in and I'll tweak stuff, because if someone like comes in, all of a sudden she's like super active, I might change it out and like put like a different winner. But yeah, typically, no, everything is scheduled. So yeah, and I call it the 10 party, Glenna. I call it the 10 party.
And then there's separate ordering links. Do you use a link tree, or what are you doing?
I don't use a link tree. I have link tree, but I actually just pin the post and I say, if you're Susie's friend, Susie Jones order link, Mary Jane's order link, blah, blah, blah. So it's all their links are right in there. And then I do pop in live, like on Friday, like, hey, welcome everyone. Just like I do my week-long parties, right? Like, hey, everyone, welcome in. Like, and then I just remind them, like, give a hoot and holler, whoever your host is with the mostest is, woo-hoo, And then I say, if you're looking for the order link, it's pinned. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, message me or your host. She can help you out there. We want to make sure no one gets confused, and they typically don't, But if they do, we have the unlock feature, right? So that's good, just in case.
Unlock feature.
I just have one thing, Pampered Chef, the company is amazing. This kind of reverts back to the little conversation earlier. And Yvonne, you're amazing. I love you. But something that Pampered Chef did for us a few years ago. Remember when they did the surprise? I don't remember, it was like a surprise element or whatever they did at national conference. They gave out these little surprise things. Well, my husband is my rock, and I started because I had cancer, so we had medical bills. That's all behind us. But so I told Pampered Chef, I sent them a little note there. Do you have any suggestions? I said, if you were ever to do like a supportive spouse award, I would love to nominate my husband because he does everything. He's beside me through this whole journey. We get to conference. I'm signing in. All of a sudden, everybody starts clapping and bells. So they're like, "Oh, this is celebration!" Like, what is going on? And they asked my husband of all things. He'd gone to the little boys' room because we just arrived. They're celebrating him. They gave him a little trophy, got certificates, and it was so cool because he is my number one fan. We're in this together. But I just wanted to share that Pampered Chef they really outdo themselves working with us. They do take our messages. They read them all. I honestly do believe that they read everything. And I just had to share it because it was a fun surprise. And of course, now that I've heard, I won't be able to go to conference this year because I'm not allowed to take a guest. So I guess I'll be staying home because my husband can't go this year. But he's been going to conferences for years. He's like a kid, like at Christmas. Oh, did you see that new product? He's just as excited as I am.
Sign him up for $25 this month and take him as a
Oh.
consultant. He can join you.
Yes.
Trip. You can't go on your trip.
Well, I thought about that, but it'd be a little hard for both of us to be active. But he does. He does take catalogs to work. He works at a prison, so he can't have anything named. So he says, "Hey, I need a couple naked catalogs to take to work." So he will pass. People that he works with know that I'm a consultant. But it's kind of funny how we have to balance that out. Like, oh, can't put my name out there, and I can't put any type of advertising on a car because that's all we need is some crazy inmate to get our phone number and give it to their family. It's like, so I can't advertise like normal people would.
Well,
I just
when you said prison and naked catalogs, my mind went totally somewhere else. But
That means no names.
I hear you, no name. Cora, if he isn't active, then she can take him on a trip, even though he's a consultant. If he wasn't active in the qualifying year, then she could just to throw it out there. I've had
Just for conference, yeah. And a conference you could, but
I don't know. I don't know if
It's
y'all want to do
hard.
that, but
it's hard. Yeah. Thank
so
you
you know
for
that
allowing me
information.
to.
It was
Thank you for allowing me to share.
Oh,
of course. All right,
Patty,
anything
should
else
we-
I could answer?
Anything else any question before we stop the recording? And we can continue to chat for anybody who wants to chat, but we want to stop the recording at a normal spot. So any questions for Yvonne based on, somebody asked, do you have boards? Do
I
you
just
use
started
boards?
getting into boards. So I don't have any boards for my wording. I use text replacement right now for everything. I need to do that. Denise could probably help me with that.
Thank you. All right, Patty, maybe we should stop the
Yeah. All right,
recording.
I'm gonna
and-
go ahead and stop the recording. This way we're